Hey everyone, and welcome back to Small Engine Edge. Today we're going to go over which riding mowers and zero-turn mowers that you should buy to sell for a profit. Last week's video was all about push mowers. That's great. You can make a lot of money buying and selling push mowers, but if you want to get into the major profit and you have the space to do so, doing that with riding mowers and with zero-turn mowers is the way to go to quickly maximize your profit. You can turn something with just a couple issues on a riding mower into a very good payday real quick. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button as we go along if you enjoy the content, and stay after the show if you're interested in learning a little bit more about where the new business is going to go. We'll start here just at the front of the building. This is a John Deere 135 automatic. It's one of their lower end mowers, but they use the same design on pretty much everything that's still made. This one's got the Briggs & Stratton V-twin 22 horse in it. It's got a manual PTO, but regardless, the parts are extremely inexpensive for and readily available. You don't have any issues, and people just love themselves a John Deere for some reason. Same thing over there, the newer design, the S100. Same basic design, just a little bit of an update, but the same exact parts overall. We love them because you can get them for a little bit of nothing, and most times there's not a whole lot wrong with them. Even if you have to completely rebuild the deck or do some carb or some engine work, you can get $800 to $1,000 out of them normally, and they sell extremely quick. The same thing with the Cub Cadet XT1 and XT2 series. These are relatively inexpensive. They've got a manual PTO, so you don't have to worry about electric PTO clutches and stuff going bad. This one has a Kohler 22 on it. Both of these will come with variations of engines. Some have the V-twins, and some will have a single-cylinder engine, depending on the options. Most of them are going to be 42 or 46-inch decks. And again, even if you have to rebuild this whole deck and do a little bit of carb or engine work, this mower is going to sell for that same price range, and it's going to sell very quickly. People like this lower end price range. One of the other ones we like is the Craftsman 30-inch. These are sold as Cub Cadets, Yard Machines, Yardman, Troy-Bilt. They're sold in a lot of different variations, but this one with the just standard transmission on it, it's got a variable speed drive and back and a 30-inch deck. People love these because they can get them in their gates in the back. They love them and they sell extremely quick. Normally, we're seeing anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200 out of something like this. These things, and that's on the low end. That's if they're in generally decent shape. If they're in better shape than that, you can get even more out of them. The hydro versions of the Cub Cadets, you can get even more out of those, but it's the same body design. It's the 30-inch rear engine rider. It's going to have either this is an MTD power more in the back, but it's going to have this or a Briggs & Stratton on it. Usually I think a 13.5. Extremely great to buy. There's not much to rebuilding any of this. The drive system is a little bit more difficult, but again, still a good model. We don't see much issues with the transmissions on these or either one of the other ones. They are hydro driven on most of the other ones, but the transmissions really last. You don't see many hydro issues or many transmission issues with things like that. So if you can get them at a decent price, you're going to flip them for major profit. Check out everything good. We've got a video on kind of what we check out if we're going to buy something like that. When you get into zero turns, I mean, any of this stuff's going to be major money makers. We normally try to shoot for no more than a third of what the retail value of something would be. That's been kind of hard recently because the retail value has gone up so much. We shoot for right around that area, though, to try to be into something. Simplicities, when you get into these, they're very high dollar pieces of equipment. Some of them have more complex designs like this Broadmoor. I try to stay away from something like that because repairing it is going to be very expensive if it has any issues with the deck or any of the drivetrain or anything. They get pretty expensive to purchase. This has got a Briggs Vanguard 23 in it. This is going to be more on the higher end, and you may have a little bit more money into selling it, and it's going to take a little bit longer to sell. They're going to sit around. Once you get into that $1,500 to $2,500 price range on these riding mowers, they seem to sit around a little bit more. If you go into one of the lower end ones like this Simplicity Regent here, I think this one has it's got a 19.5 horse Briggs & Stratton on it. It's going to sell a little bit quicker, but you're going to be at a lower price point there. Pick those out, kind of figure out what retail on something like that would be. And again, you really, about a third of what retail would be is where you're going to want to be as far as price, and price it no more than half of retail. That's kind of what we go off of. This is another snapper, or a snapper design. I'm sorry, I have another one in back that's similar. This is kind of the same as the 30-inch Craftsman. People love them. You can sell these. I mean, these are going to get up into the $1,500 to $2,000 range just as it sits in generally okay condition. The thing with these is I believe they were stopped being made quite a while ago, so you can't get a real good quality snapper anymore, any of them out there. They're not making them. These are going to increase in value, and they're going to hold their value if you're purchasing something like this. As we get into like your higher end John Deeres and stuff like that, you're going to spend quite a bit of money on them and on repairing them if there's any parts or anything needed, but you're going to get major money out of those. A lot of these are extremely, extremely expensive, and they're good quality machines. They're going to last a lifetime. This one's got power steering and stuff. Some of these can go $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. It really just depends on what models you're looking at. We like to buy them, again, at about a third of the price of what retail would be and sell for no more than half. That's going to keep things moving very quickly. But again, at this higher price point, that's going to be something that's going to sit around longer normally. I like to focus on some of the lower end stuff because it moves much quicker. Got another Simplicity back here. This is kind of the newer design. Got an electronic lift deck. Again, these are great machines. I prefer them. Love a Simplicity, but they stopped making these recently also. We're not going to see a bunch of these around anymore once they stop selling this year's model. Newer Cub Cadets. I'm not a big fan of the IntelliPower, as most of you know if you watch the channel at all, where we do repairs. Same general design as far as the engagement goes, but it's got a little cheap power more, electronically controlled carburetor on it. Not a big fan of it, but they will move quickly at that lower price point if you can pick one up for a decent price. But if you're having running issues, know that you may have to put some additional work into it. One of my favorites, because they sell extremely quick in the $600 to $800 range normally, yard machines. They sell them again as MTD, Craftsman. I don't know. There's all kinds of them. Troy-Bilt, Yardman, Husky. Everybody makes a tractor that's like this. Any MTD branded name is going to have a tractor out there like this. They've either got the 38 or the 42-inch two-blade system on it. It's going to be a manual PTO adjustment or manual PTO engagement again. But that manual engagement means that you're not going to have a whole lot of issues with PTO clutches or anything to that fact. 13.5 horse, they usually put a Briggs on them 9 times out of 10. Pretty easy to fix, and parts availability is very available also. Again, you want to check these out. If you're buying something like this, you want to make sure that the whole front end isn't all messed up, that the toe in and out isn't bad, that in generally okay shape. If you're going to get something in bad shape, make sure you get it at a good price. Something like this Simplicity here, it's a well-made unit. I believe Ferris actually made these for Simplicity at one point. Got a Ferris out back. Maybe I'll show you here shortly. It's starting to get light enough to do that. These are well-made machines, but they have a lot of engineering to them. So if you don't know what you're looking for, you want to check that out very well and make sure everything's working properly. As something like this, you could run into sticking $200 or $300 in it, and that's before you run into electric PTO clutch issues or run into engine issues. If you're not real highly skilled at doing small engine repair yet, stay away from bigger stuff like this, and it is going to take longer to sell. I've got a wheel horse over here I'm doing a bunch of engine work on. Now these were machines that'll last forever, right? I mean, they're amazing machines, but there is a lot to them. Most of them are going to be seeping oil different places. You're going to stick a ton of money into that, and there's a very limited market for it. There is a market out there, and the pricing on them strong, but I'd say steer clear of something like that unless you want to put some time and some money into it and have your money held up for a long period. Another Craftsman rear engine rider here. I've got a Craftsman on the table. This is one of the designs made by AYP. It goes for Craftsman, Husqvarna. I'm sure there's a few different names that they put it under, but this one has the manual PTO clutch, 42-inch deck, kind of what I would say buy as far as the rest of them. They're going to have, again, like a 19 to 21 horse single cylinder, otherwise like a 22 to 24 horse V-twin on them most times. These, we see a lot of issues with the front ends, so you want to double check that that is actually in line with everything. If it's not, I would probably steer clear, as that's going to be pretty expensive to fix, but otherwise everything on this thing is pretty decent as far as fixing. And on these, we normally see anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 out of them. They've got the nice handle on the side for a hydro control, so people just love them. I mean, it's a lot easier to drive a hydro with a single handle like that than it is to drive a geared model like that yard machine's over there. So people love them for smaller yards and stuff where you have to back up and go different places. It's just easier to drive. When you get into something like this X590, I mean, you're talking thousands and thousands of dollars, of course. If you can pick something up like this for cheap that's not running or been sitting for a while, it's probably worth doing. But again, you're probably going to hang on to it for a little while. This one, as well as many of them, have a tiller attachment on the back. Most of them will have a snow blower or any sort of attachment. They make tons of stuff for this. They're great machines. They've got power steering and, yeah, just many different things that can add up real quick as far as pricing goes. As we come back here, we have kind of the same design or frame as that Craftsman up front, but this is the Husqvarna. It's got a 54-inch deck on this, and it's got an electric PTO clutch. This one has the pedals down below as opposed to the handle over to the right of you. 54-inch deck, 24 horsepower engine, same frame as that other one, but it's got the electric PTO clutch. This one I've actually had for sale here for a while. I've only got 1,600 on it, and it has not moved yet. Every one of my mowers at a lower price point than that has moved in a matter of days. People around here anyway, once you get up into that price range, they just seem to kind of shy away from used stuff at those price points. I don't buy a whole lot of it. I only kind of, if I acquire it through some weird means, I'll end up purchasing them. This is the same design with this other Husqvarna. This one is not mine. This one's got a 48-inch deck on it. They have a lot of different variations of what these things actually have as far as features go. This YT3000 back here is exactly the same as I had on the table. It's got the manual PTO, and it's got the right-hand side hydrostatic transmission on it. The problem with getting into some of these higher priced ones is, again, you're going to sit on them for a while. If you're trying to flip them for a quick profit, buy them at a price point where you can get rid of them a little bit cheaper. That Simplicity 38, again, kind of the same as some of the ones we've seen. Same thing with this snapper, except it's a 28. I believe that other one's a 30 or 32. They made them in all kinds of different widths on those lower end. S100, same design as the ones we saw up front. Now they do make these in like an S140 and the higher end stuff that has an electric PTO clutch. Those are going to be the same buy in my mind. You may put a little bit more into fixing something like that, but you're going to get more out of it too. The retail value on it's going to be a lot more. And again, people just love these John Deeres. They seem to love the Cub Cadet. I've got one right here. This is one that was featured in one of our videos recently with, I think we did an engine swap on it, but this one's just sat here ever since. I haven't been able to sell it. I haven't had much interest in it. and it's at that higher price point though. I can lower it quite a bit if I don't get any hits on it here in the near future. I probably will, but it's in very good shape. This would make somebody a great tractor, but again, not a real quick sale, not something that I would buy for flipping without getting it at a decent price, which that one I did, so I don't have a whole lot of money into it. The time cutter. This is one of the zero turns that sells the easiest and the best for us. If we're going to buy a time cutter, we look at the deck. The decks on these do like to rust out pretty bad, so make sure they're in decent shape. But the time cutter sells extremely quickly. People love this Toro name. They love the time cutter brand, and it's a small deck. It's only got a 42-inch deck, so homeowners can still fit it into their gates most times. The designs on these are going to vary quite a bit. They've got Kohlers, they've got Briggs, they've got single cylinders, they've got V-twins. The price points also vary quite a bit, so you've got to be mindful of that and select one that you're going to make good money on. These I normally see, it really depends on the features and the condition and everything. Normally between $1,200 and $2,000 though is what we would get out of a machine similar to this in good condition. So it's a good flip. A lot of times you can get them for $200 or $300 is what I see them go for on Marketplace many times if they're in okay condition. Other times if they're all beat up, forks are bent up front, and they've got a lot of issues. You see this seat separating. Stuff like that's going to bring your value down. So if it's not in good shape, be mindful of that. And again, try to be into it about a third of the price and aim to sell it no more than half the price of retail. And again, that's for a quick flip. If you're trying to get max dollar out of it, by all means, go with a higher price than what I'm saying here. These are the newer Troy-Bilt zero-turn designs. I've seen this one pop up quite a bit lately. It's got the Power More engine on the back. It's got kind of a real small frame to it. And then the front, these things are rocking, I believe, a 34-inch deck is what they're using on it. So for somebody who has the same needs for one of those smaller footprint mowers, this is going to be great for. This would be a perfect sale for somebody and a quick sale for somebody, I believe, even though it's one of your lower end models. Oh yeah, it's a 34-inch Mustang Fit. The drive and hydraulic system on this, or hydro system on this, I'm not a huge fan of, but they are decent quality. So it is what it is. It's got the tubular frame and the stamped steel construction of the deck. So you can take a look and make sure that the deck's not all bent up and in bad shape. But these are newer models. And again, this has a manual PTO clutch. So you don't have to worry about an electric PTO clutch or a bunch of electronics. If you're not real into that, you shouldn't have too much cost associated with fixing and flipping this. You should be able to do that relatively easily and inexpensive. And something like this, I'm not exactly sure what they go for. I'd have to look that up real quick, but something like this, I would probably price in that same $1,500 to $2,000 price range as the Toro, because it's got the smaller deck that are gonna get people through the gates. And overall, this is a newer design, so it's gonna be, let's see here, it looks like that's 2018, so I guess they've been around for a while. This one looks like it's brand new off the showroom floor. I've got some more of these low-end tractors outside. For instance, the Ariens. These tractors are kind of the same design as a lot of these lower-end Craftsman AYPs or the MTD brands. Lower horsepower, says Power-Bilt engine. It's just a Briggs & Stratton. This one's obviously not in great shape, but manual PTO, generally cheap construction of the deck and stuff like the other ones. The big difference on this is that it's got a drive system. So it's got a 6-speed instead of a hydro in it, which in my opinion doesn't sell nearly as well. Same Craftsman type here with the 24 like we had inside in a couple different areas. We see a ton of this stuff. And again, parts for all this are going to be decent to buy. This Craftsman's got, instead of the hydro handle, it's got the forward and reverse on the floor. But this gear drive system is going to be harder to sell. You want to stay away from that as much as you can. Craftsman LT2000. Same general design again, forward and reverse, manual PTO, same thing as the yard machines. These are all exactly the same things. Troy-Bilt out here, the Bronco, same exact design, even though they're all different brands. The decks are the same, the drives are the same. Everything on these is exactly the same. And I tell you that, but they do have a few different drive systems. This one's got a pedal, so it's a little bit better to drive because you let off the brake and then you hit the pedal to go. Repairing something like this as far as the drive, it is a pain. I've got a couple of videos on those. This one people don't like quite as much though, because you just let off the brake and that's when you go, and that's how fast you go. These ones with the pedal are a little bit easier to drive again, but you've got to deal with fixing that if there's any issues if you're trying to flip it. The transmissions though almost never have issues. Don't see that really ever on these. This is kind of similar to that Simplicity that was sitting inside. Same suspension and everything to it. It's got a full suspension. Basically springs right here on the backside. A little bit different design, but same basic features. Again, I'm pretty sure that Simplicity made that, or I'm sorry, Ferris made that mower for Simplicity. It was a collaboration. Again, great mowers. We love them, but you're going to stick some money into it likely, especially if it's kind of older like this. Check it out thoroughly. Make sure there's no major issues before you buy something like that. When you get into zero turns like this one, that's got this same setup and deck, they make them in, again, all the MTD stuff, Yardman, Yard Machines, Troy-Bilt, Boland's, with the single cylinder on the back. I would stay away from something like this. The setup of it is extremely bad in my opinion. I don't like the wiring. I don't like the accessibility of anything. It is an electric PTO clutch, but once you get this finished, I have a hard time selling these. Usually $800, $1,200 range, and people just don't want to buy them. They've got a lot of issues. Stay away from some designs like this. It's actually our neighbor's mower over here. I sold it to him. It was a little cheapo. It's got the electric PTO clutch, smaller engine on it. It's got the foot pedal on the side. These, with these decks, I see just all kinds of issues, and the parts aren't readily available like on most of these other models. So these 1000 series, even the 2000 series Cub Cadets, in my opinion, I'd probably steer clear of something like that. You've got more that can go wrong with the PTO. And then the sale price on these, it's a hard sell even at $800 to $1,000 with a mower like this anymore. Just not something. The LT 1018, LT 4200, whatever they'd like to call them. Older Cub Cadets, Simplicities. This is a companion made by Sears over here. All of this old box stuff, stay away from, in my opinion. You're going to have a hard time even getting a few $100s out of it. They've got so many issues, it's not even funny. Now, that doesn't go to say that you can't find a Cub Cadet that's in good shape, a 1250. I've got a 1450 over there. These things are great and they're workhorses, but you're going to probably stick some money into them. There is a big following for something like these old implements, but something like this is just, there's not a whole lot of demand for them unless someone's looking for like a race mower or something to that effect. Another Craftsman out here. Got the same drive system, 48 or 54 inch deck. This one we actually picked up for free. I don't know, 15, 20 miles away. Comes with a snow plow and a bunch of other stuff. May do a video on this one on the other channel sometime when we get a chance to. But I can tell you one thing, it's gonna be quite a bit of work to get this thing going. It was in pretty bad shape and it's sat for, I don't know, I think they said either 5 or 8 or 10 years. I mean, it's going to be some work to get it going. Stuff like this though, I mean, no reason to buy that. I wouldn't normally even take that if it was given to me. Somebody brought this by, so I did actually take it. This is mine. But yeah, no reason to go spend really any money on that. If someone gives it to you for free, 9 times out of 10, you're going to stick so much money into fixing it, you're not going to want to sell that anyway. John Deere, another implement here, X360. Great machines, great decks, great A great whole system. It's got a hydraulic system, so it's got power steering in the front. This one, we're having some hydro issues, some hydro leaking, a lot of issues in the back. We quoted this to the customer, and they actually said they didn't want to fix it. They didn't want to pick it up, that we could have it. I've got some parts ordered. We're going to fix this all up and go to sell it, but this will sit probably for a little while. It's almost impossible to cover every brand, make, and model of a riding mower or a zero-turn mower you're going to see out there, but I think we did a pretty good job of covering some of the ones we see most often. When you get into some of those zero turns that we didn't show here, like the Cub Cadet Ultima or the lower end John Deere Z-Trax or the Husqvarnas or the Ariens, and then of course we have the Craftsmans and the Troy-Bilts, the lower end of those. When you're in those, you're going to have a lot bigger market for that since they're at the lower price point. You have more people that are looking for a larger mower at that price point than when you get into some of the bigger, like the Toro Titan and the X-Marks and the Hustlers and Bad Boys. The list goes on and on and on. But we really don't like to be in mowers, no matter the brand, maker, model, more than about a third of what the retail price is, and sell them for right around half. That puts you at a good profit margin, and it helps it sell a lot quicker. It's a quicker sale if you get to be about that half of retail price point. And that's for something that's in pretty good shape and decent shape, I would say. Otherwise, if it's in great shape and low hours, of course you can go a little bit over that, and you can push that sale price up quite a bit also. But for quick sale, that's where we like to be. Figure out how long they're going to sit around before you sell them. So be weary of buying something if it's not going to be a quick sale or at the right price for you, if you're going to need that return on investment in a shorter period. Otherwise, try to buy it a little bit lower if you're going to have to hold on to it for longer. That money could be used somewhere else to invest in a different area, as opposed to tying it up in a more expensive place that's not going to give you the return that another investment would. Remember, when you go to buy any piece of equipment, condition is going to be a lot of it, okay? Take a look at it, check everything out. Make sure that you're not going to get yourself into a situation where you're going to spend more money than what you're going to make for the effort and the amount of money you put into it. As someone said on the last one, don't be afraid to walk away. Don't take a bad deal just because you're looking for a mower trying to make a buck, as opposed to walking away. If it's a bad deal, if you're unsure, if it's not something you're going to make good money on, walk away. If it's not a good deal, walk away. Don't be afraid to make that decision and walk away empty-handed. All it's costed is a little bit of time and a little bit of gas to get there. It's very important that you don't get yourself into a situation where you're going to sink a bunch of money into it and lose money or the time and effort put into it, unless, again, you're learning. If you're learning, that's a different story. Maybe something you want to mess with, and hey, maybe that's how you're going to learn not to buy mowers like that. Anyway, hopefully it's helped you out as far as the buying and selling mowers. Now, as far as the business that we have here, this channel's taken off quite a bit faster than I thought it would. We've got a lot of views from this last video and stuff. I wanted to give you a good update for where we plan on going. We bought some property in Tennessee. It's about 10 miles south of Clarksville or so. We're planning on living there, and I'm not really sure what we plan on doing with the business yet. I might put up a pole barn out back. I might do something there out of my house, but then you run into the issue of people are constantly coming and they're at your house. I've done that before. I don't like that. To me, I don't really want to go that route again, so I might actually open another commercial location somewhere and go that route instead. I've piddled around with this back and forth, and I've also thought about doing a mobile repair. That's not something I really want to do. I don't enjoy being out on the road. I don't mind pickup and deliveries, maybe a couple days a week, but don't really prefer mobile. You run into a lot with parts and having to stock different things. I don't want to really deal with that. Don't want to really deal with people at my house. So right now I'm thinking commercial location, but I'm still undecided on that. But Clarksville, here we come. Probably the beginning to the middle of next year. We're going to be there. We're going to get everything set up, and I'll take you through every step of getting the business set up there as we go. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button as we go along. Throw down below what kind of mowers you like to flip. Throw down below what ideas you have as far as setting the business up. Do you think I should do it out of my house? Do you think I should go commercial? What do you guys think? Again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Keep dreaming big, and I hope you do well on all of your mower sales and repairs this year.